Now, many of the issues that minority women face are rooted in sexism and abusive behavior by men. Do you bring men into the conversation at the YWCA to try and end the cycle?
We're trying to. At least at the YWCA-USA, we have men in our team, and I want to bring more men into this conversation. We cannot be drivers of change if we're just one-sided. These are issues that impact women disproportionately, but the solution to these issues is going to require us to walk hand in hand with our male counterparts. So that is an exercise that I'm definitely very committed to. I grew up with a lot of men in my family, a lot of Latin men. And as the firstborn in the United States and as the first of my generation, I was lucky to have a father who brought me to the table and to the conversation. So I treasure that, and I never want to be one to discriminate against men because this is an issue that impacts women. On the contrary, I want to make sure that I walk the walk and that we set the example, not just for the men of this time, but the young men that are coming up. So I will tell you that our YWCAs have this conversation ongoing. I recently was at the YWCA in Brooklyn, and it was a very interesting conversation about the way women experience catcalling and how they felt. And the audience was filled with young men who engaged in the conversation. And it was beautiful to see that aha moment when they understood, I too am part of this problem. So this is the beauty of engaging a much broader audience when we talk about women and girls in America.
Ever since the Me Too movement, that people are really afraid to engage with women, do you think that's going to have a negative impact on us?
Life is about shades of gray. And when the pendulum swings so quickly to the other extreme, you have unintended consequences. And I think that the conversation has to rest somewhere in the middle. And it has to be a dialogue. The Me Too movement has been extraordinary. It has shed light on issues that for a long time, we just kind of had to bear with them. And I'll tell you, as somebody whose professional life was in Washington, D.C., yeah, there were many unspoken rules and situations. It has, the Me Too movement has given power sometimes to those of us who felt powerless. But as we journey through that process, we have to engage in that shade of gray. Not everything can be perceived as a harassment. And we can't allow men to just shut down. That's the other side. We have to bring them out and say, you know what, let's have this conversation. We can have this conversation among colleagues, and we may have to find a point where we will agree to disagree. But we have to struggle through this because it's new norms, it's change, and it's definitely a very needed conversation.